Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my VIPKid Classroom Crash Course series, where I will be giving you all the tips and tricks as a new teacher. And in this episode, I will be talking to you about all my do's and don'ts to writing effective feedback to get those returning students and 5 Apple reviews. Let's talk about the don'ts first. Don't go too in-depth about the lesson itself and not about the student's performance. Some teachers write every single detail about what the lesson was about. Some even write the name of the story and retell what happened in the story. And just remember that your feedback is for the parents to know how their child did in the lesson, not a book report about the lesson itself. So be sure to tell them only the parts about the lesson that are applicable to their child. And also don't forget that they do have access to the material beforehand. So only mention what is needed. Don't comment on the student's difficulties right away. No parent wants to read about how much their child struggled throughout the lesson in the first lines that they read from the teacher. Personally, I tend to sandwich my students' difficulties or opportunities to grow in the middle of what they did well on, which I put at the beginning, and at the end of my feedback to end it on a positive note. And I do the same thing to address behavioral issues in class as well. Don't not mention something that the student can work on. Sometimes I read teachers' feedbacks and they mention only great things. And that's awesome if the student completely aced the lesson. But even when my student does perfectly, I mention at least one thing that they continue to work on at home, because the parents want to know about how their kid did, but they also want to know what you as a professional notice that their child can continue to practice at home. Don't use complicated grammatical jargon or fluffy language. Keep it simple so that you can express yourself more clearly and be better understood. Especially if your feedback is going through a translator, a lot can be lost in translation if you're using a lot of wordy sentences or complicated language. And remember, not all parents know what the present perfect tense is or what an object pronoun is. So make sure that you keep it concise. Now let's move on to the do's. Do acknowledge their strengths and improvements. Did their reading blow you away? Did they use the past tense for the first time perfectly while describing their day? These are things that parents love to read, so definitely mention them. Do keep it simple and concise. Not retelling the whole lesson is one thing, but also parents are busy. They don't want to read a 20-page essay, so make sure that you keep your feedback as concise as possible. Excessively long feedback runs the risk of probably not getting read by the parents and would be a complete waste of your time as well. Do ask for 5 Apple reviews. A lot of teachers feel a little bit shy about doing this because, to be honest, it's kind of awkward and unnatural to ask for it in your feedback. But if you don't, then most parents aren't gonna leave you anything. And for new teachers, 5 Apple reviews are especially important because before a parent books with you, they wanna know what other parents have said about the way that you teach and to see if you're a good fit for their child. So think about Google reviews. It's the same thing. So don't be shy about asking for those 5 Apple reviews. Do be honest about your student's performance in class. Sometimes I get a new student and I look at what the previous teacher's comments were about that student. And I can see that they gave excellence to the student in all categories, the reading, the writing, the math, etc. And when I get into class, it is clearly not the case. And many times, teachers are just afraid to rate the student honestly because they're scared of getting a bad review from the parent. And this is not only a disservice to the student, but if a kid is struggling with their reading, don't think that their parents don't know. They know. So Be professional about it and take this as an opportunity to maybe even recommend a class, a supplemental class that you might be certified in, or just simply give them some advice that they can do at home to improve that skill that they're having difficulty with. Do leave a note for the LP. LP stands for Learning Partner, and not only are the direct contact for the parents, but they are also the people that are booking the classes and recommending teachers to the students and the parents. So basically, they are your best friend in your VIPKid career. And if you are noticed by an LP, that is very, very great news. So personally, I always leave a note for the LP, something very, very concise because they are busy and they have many, many students to manage. So I say one thing that the student did well on, one thing that they can improve on, and I always thank them for their work. If you are having a behavioral issue and you don't really know how to word it, it is best to go through the LP so that they can relay the situation to the parents in language that is understood and accepted by the parents. This way you can address the situation, be honest about what happened, and not run the risk of offending anyone or getting a bad review. Personally, I use Google Slides and just modify the templates that they have based on my students' performance and how class went. I have everything that I need on a little sticky note that I use throughout class so that I'm never actually out of the classroom and can still keep tabs on everything that's going on. And I usually start editing the template in between the classes and then tweak it throughout the class or at the end of class if needed. And on this same sticky pad, I have all the sentences and phrases that I repeatedly use throughout my feedback, because you will be saying a lot of sentences and expressions again and again. So I have everything on there so I can just simply copy and paste it right into my feedback without having to waste time retyping everything over and over again. All of these, my referrals will have access to, including the way that I ask for those 5 Apple ratings, and of course, guidance before and after the hiring process as well. I hope this video has been helpful to you and will help you with your feedback writing to get you more bookings and to save you some time. Be sure to come back because I will be uploading more videos with more must-know tips very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.